Greetings! Do another video. Today we've got a little treat for you because, as you can see just out of the frame there, we've got Phil Burt, master bike fitter. He's worked with Team Sky, with British Cycling, with pros that like Bradley Wiggins. And how long have you been in the bike fitting?
At least 16 years now.
16 years. So he's going to share the 5 biggest mistakes that he sees people make, so that you can ensure that you are on your perfect fit, just to get the most out of your cycling. So I'll just hand over to Phil.
5 classic mistakes I see people make with fit, and the first one is timing. So changing things just before a major event. That is not a great idea, but so many people panic and do it. I think, so if someone's booking in for us before, say, the biggest event they've been training all year, we want at least 6 weeks, ideally more than that, for any major changes and for them to be bedded in, all right? And for them to adapt to them so they become actual changes that are worthwhile, so you can get more power out or be more aero or more comfortable, whatever. So the big thing, I think this time of year, well, right where we are now, this is where you should be exploring fit, because it's normally away from the time when people are doing their Ironmans, their long rides, tap the tours, whatever they are doing, and in winter time. Also, just by the way, just doing self-reflection on fit when you're on the bike on the turbo. Me and Katie were talking about this. It's the perfect time. If you're on a turbo, get up, move your saddle up 5 millimeters, move it 4 or 5 millimeters. Oh, my power's gone up. Yep, feels comfortable. You're not in the middle of nowhere stuck, and you don't have to ride 2 hours to get home on a position that you now realise isn't bad. And that's a brilliant time to fit. Big point with that, the other mistake I make is people who don't anchor themselves. And what do I mean by that? Know your position. If you're happy with it, measure the hell out of that position, right? So if you do go on that experimental drive, you know where you come back to. The second one is, biggest mistake I see is when people throw away their old kits. Let me give you a pro example of this. Someone who once started the Giro, ended up with raging knee pain 3 days in. Can you speak with them, Phil? Yes. What have you changed? I've changed my shoes, my cleats and my pedals before I started a 3-week Grand Tour. Okay. Easy solution. Where are the old ones? Because they've been working. I threw them away. That is not a good thing to do. So all I would say is, I always advise customers, and even when we're changing things, I'll always say, if we're going to put, you're going to set up a new pair of shoes, don't take your old cleats off, but put new cleats on, because we want to make sure if something's working for you, your old saddle, your old shoe setup and pedal setup, keep the old, replace with new, and then you've got something to go back to, or something to reference and go, well, why is this not working? You've got something you can look at. So don't throw away your old kit when you change to new. Third mistake, I made, which is probably is trying to copy pros. Right? So people come in here sometimes with slam setups, and their goal is to ride 2.5 hours comfortable, and yet they're slammed like they're Mark Cavendish trying to win a Tour de France race. I get it. We look at the TV, we see what we think looks really great, and it does look great, but you've got to do horses for courses, all right? And sometimes, I love this phrase, all right? This has happened to me. Sometimes we have to say goodbye to the Matterhorn and hello to the Cotswolds, all right? You have to realise that if you sit at a desk, 8 hours a day, you're not paid to be a pro cyclist. Your lumbar spine flexibility will not allow you to get to a completely cut off front end, slow and slam. So just realise be realistic, yeah? And copying the pros, what they do sometimes can be the absolute worst thing you could do. The great man, my very good friend, Sir Chris Hoy, once said, everyone was panicking at one point in Olympic cycle, and everyone was saying, why are the Germans beating us? Why are they doing all this? And everyone wanted to change to whatever they were doing in terms of training. And he said, hold on a minute. I signed up to this plan. I believe in this plan. I am sticking to this plan. I'm not doing what someone else is doing because I don't know why they're doing it. And he won 2 gold medals after that. So he said, all right, so don't necessarily copy the pros. Don't put up with stock kit. So in other words, if you buy a new bike, it's more than likely going to come with a saddle that manufacturer chooses, yeah? It's going to come with a crank length that they think suits most people who are on that size of frame, and a handlebar width, right? Those 3 things. Doesn't mean it fits you, all right? So I see some people who seem to think that I've just got to break myself into making this work. If you have an old position that works and you get a new bike and it's wonderful, but it just doesn't feel quite right, spend some time and invest in hold on a minute. Is that handlebar width right for me? Oh no, it's different to what I old want. Right, I need to switch to the old. the saddle, if you've got a saddle that works in the past, the best thing you can do is come back to that saddle, you know, if the new one's not working, you know, and then crank length, absolutely, you know, just because it comes with 172.5 doesn't mean that's the ideal crank length for you. The most common mistake I unfortunately see, probably because of who I am a little bit, but I bet lots of a bike fitters see it, is people will walk through that door and they will sit down with a bag of 10 saddles that can be nearly £2,000 worth of kit and say, I'm just not comfortable on my saddle. And nearly all of them are very surprised when I say, we're going to start with this saddle on this bike. And they say, why? And I go, because until we know that's in the right place, that saddle can't do its job. So no saddle can make up for a poor position. And I think too many people, including myself in the past actually, will jump to, I've got saddle sore, my saddle must be wrong. As opposed to, I've got saddle sore, is my position right? And is this type of saddle in the right place to work? I think you should cross those things off first of all, and then when you're sure about position, and you're as sure as you can be, either by yourself or through expert advice by people like myself, at that point you start to iterate in the saddles and which ones are on it. Do we need a different saddle? Do we need a V-shape, T-shape, soft nose, all those different things, very fancy 3D printed, you know? Even the most expensive saddles are out there now cannot make up for a very bad position, you know, and need to be actually cast. Those 3D printed ones need to be measured and cast in a good position if they're going to do what they want to do. So don't disappear down the rabbit hole of what I call saddle pain, which is I'm going to try every single saddle there is available.
And we've done videos on getting your perfect saddle position. I'll leave a link to that video. We can do another video.
Yep.
Up to date one. I think that's pretty much everything.
Yep, that's my 5 top mistakes. Try not to make them.
If you've got any other questions or any other topics that you want me and Phil to film, leave them in the comments below and we will do that very soon. Thank you so much. Goodbye, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Happy Christmas.
I think I will be.
We will.
Oh, is it going to be before Christmas?
You have to come back with your Santa hat and do.